Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this new lesson. Today's lesson, as you can see in the picture here, it is how to write an editorial or editorial writing. What are the principles of writing an editorial, or what are the qualities which make a good editorial? We are going to see these points in this lesson, inshallah. Newspapers report the news. Writing news is different from other literary styles. I mean, why we write newspaper? We have newspapers. We have newspapers to report news. What are the different kinds of news? I mean, whether they are, local, global, international. Social, political, and so on. Then writing these news is different from writing any other literary pieces of writing. So a news story, for example, is different from writing a novel or a short story. This is obvious. Each literary style has its own techniques and, let's say, characteristics. Writing an editorial is significant too, as journalists have to leave their opinions. Why it is important to write an editorial? Because here in this editorial, the journalist have this possibility to give his opinion or to state clearly what he thinks about this subject. What is an editorial, or what does the word or mean, the meaning of editorial mean? Yes. An editorial is an article which presents the newspaper's opinion on an issue, whether it is political, social, economic, or legal. So, an editorial, what is important, what is the first idea is that an editorial is an article. This is first. Then it gives your opinion. Okay, so it is about your opinion. Then the issues which an editorial can deal with are different, are let's say political, social, economic, or legal. Then it requires lot of evidence, statistics, and research. So when you write your editorial, it means that you need much evidence, many statistics, and deep research. You cannot start writing an editorial like that without having, let's say, uh, information or, let's say, a general background on your subject. Editorial writers build on an argument and try to persuade the reader into believing and thinking the same way they do. So why do editorial writers write their editorials? Sorry, because they try to persuade, and they try to persuade the reader to think and act or believe in something as uh, they do. Yes. So editorial writers, try to persuade the reader into believing and thinking the same way they do. It can be about any topic, but it is usually written about an issue that deals with our society. So the aim, as I said, it aims or tries it aims, sorry, or tries to persuade the reader. Now, the subject or the topic of your editorial can be about any subject you want, but preferably you have to deal with the subjects which are in direct relation to your society. The editorial preferably has to deal with a subject which is in direct relation to the society, or it tries to deal with a social issue. Editorials aim to influence public opinion, promote critical thinking, and try to convince people to take action on an issue. So, editorials, as I said, beside aiming to persuade the reader, they try to influence public opinion. They try to promote critical thinking. What is to promote critical thinking? It means that it encourages people to have this, possibility to criticize what they read or what they receive, and so on. They have the possibility to criticize without being afraid, or without having, because you have, of course, you have to bear in mind that we have this freedom of expression, and they try, of course, to convince people to take action on an issue. When you read editorial, you have that this feeling that it is like urging you to take the action on such or such issue. Now, what is or what are the stages or the steps which are needed to write your editorial. The first step is you have to decide on an important topic to you. So you have to choose the topic which is important to you, because it is relative. I mean, what is important to me, maybe it is not important to you. Of course, we are different. We have different interests and so on. So the first element, you have to choose the important topic to you, but preferably when dealing or trying to write an editorial, it is worth, or it is better to choose current issues, because current issues, writing an editorial about current issues, it is something very important. In fact, this is the first step. The second step, once you have the topic, you go to identify the type of your editorial. So here you identify the type of your editorial. You have in fact four different types. So it depends on the topic you have, and the objective or the aim you want to reach at the end by writing your editorial. So first you have explanatory editorial. Here you have to explain the rules or the process of something. For example, you take the process of a simple process and try to explain what are the steps to do or to come to the final result of this process. For example, if you want to let me give you a simple example of a process we have learned about. For example, the photosynthesis process. I mean, how it is made, how it is transformed to the plant, and this plant gets benefit from it, and so on. So this is a process. Then you have critical. Your editorial can be critical. It means that you criticize an action, you criticize an idea, and so on. So you have this possibility to criticize. You do not just receive and be passive. You receive information without having this possibility to express your opinion about what you have read about, or the you have received in general. It can be an idea, an opinion, a film, and so on. So you have the possibility to criticize. Then you have persuasive editorial. Persuasive editorial. Here you have the verb to persuade, or it is to convince. What do we mean by to persuade? It is to convince. You have to try to persuade the reader to endorse a specific solution. You are okay with something, you are convinced, and so on. So you have to and then you endorse it. So you try to make the reader endorse it too. They have the last type. It is praising editorial. It tries, it comments how to handle a problem or a situation. So here, this praising editorial helps you to find, let's say, solutions to a situation or a problem. These are the four different types of the editorial. Now you have the other idea, or the other step is to form your opinion. Your opinion in your editorial is important. We said at the beginning that the very first aim of an editorial, or of writing an editorial, is to give your opinion. So give clearly your position or your opinion on the topic you are dealing with. Okay, so you have to be clear here. Then the other idea, it is to find facts to support your subject by looking for strong arguments. How can you uh, how can you support your editorial? It is by giving facts based on arguments. You have to give statistics, evidence, arguments, and so on. Sorry, to convince the receiver. Let's say the reader. Then here the other step, which is more important too, if you compare it to the other ideas, it is to outline your editorial. Notice please that to have an outline is important everywhere, not just when you write your editorial. It is, for example, important when you write your research paper. It is important when you have, let's say, any piece of writing. You write, for example, a story, you have to have the outline. You write, for example, if a scenario, you have to have an outline, and so on. So it is important and it is crucial. So you have to outline your editorial, because This outline helps you to take a position on the issue. So you know, thanks to this editorial, you know where to stand in relation to the issue. Then the last step, after a completion or finishing all with the with all the previous steps, you have to come to the final result, which is to write your article. Now you are just I mean trying to write your article. Here, to write your article, you have to bear in mind some important steps. Sorry. The first one is to write your lead. Your lead is important because it grabs the reader's attention. Then you have to give your opinion right in the lead, or if it is not in the lead, you have to give it in the first paragraph. You have not to make it later on, or you have to give it either in the lead or in the first paragraph. This is the first, let's say, step to write your article. Then you have to support your position by arguments. So you have to look for evidence, arguments, what else? Evidence, arguments, statistics, and so on. Then you have your conclusion, should sum up all the detailed information you wrote about. So when your conclusion, in fact, it is you restate in a way what is said in the beginning. So all the information contained in your editorial should be summed up in the conclusion. Now, what is the importance of an editorial? Why it is important to write editorial? Why do we write editorials? Now we are going to see why it is important. So the editorial is written by the editor. So notice please the name editor, editorial, because the editor is the one who takes the action. I mean he does, sorry, the action. So he writes the editorial. Or it can be written by a deputy editor, okay, or one of the writers on the behalf of the editor. What is the meaning or to what is the meaning of to write on the behalf of someone or to speak on the behalf of someone? It means that you have the permission of that person, okay, on his behalf. The editorials not only persuade the reader to change their views, so we said at the beginning that they try to convince and persuade the reader, but it is not the only aim or the only objective, as these editorials have this possibility to help the readers to form their own views. Okay, so the editorial, in fact, it is important because it acts as a voice of the common man. What do we mean by a voice of the common man? It means it represents or it speaks on the behalf of those people. Common man, I mean general people. Then advocate of human rights. In the editorial, you can, I mean, advocate or you can ask for human rights. Okay, it is a critic of government policies. When you write your editorial, you have the power to criticize government policies. You have to interpret, the constitution in your editorial. Your editorial can interpret the constitution. Then you have to forecaster. An editorial is a forecaster of political and social changes. What is a forecaster? It means it calls for political and social changes. It tries to make a radical change. At the political level or social level by changing some, let's say, laws, changing some behaviors in society, and so on. It is an informer and analyst of complicated issues. There is an issue in your society. Thanks to this editorial, you will be aware or you will know about the issue, and it gives an analysis of the, let's say, this issue. So, an editorial, you can have this. Idea. I mean, you analyze complicated issues of your society and you inform people about them. Because when those people read about your or read your editorial, they will have an idea about the issue. Then it is a promoter of worthy activities. Yes, the editorial can promote or can let's say improve, or let's say let's make these activities known. It is the last idea, which is related to the importance of an editorial. It is that an editorial is a problem solver of any issue of social importance, mainly social issues, because they are important to society. I don't say this because other issues or other, let's say, topics or are not important. Uh, this is not what I mean, but social issues are let's say something we live I mean with in our society, so we have to solve them, we have to find solutions and so on. So among the I mean the possibilities we have to make these social issues changed, or let's say find solutions to them, it is by writing editorial. So this is why we say an editorial is problem solver of any issue of social importance. So, in the conclusion, we have said that an editorial is not just about writing down your ideas and thoughts. It means that, of course, we said that in editorial it is about your opinion, okay? And you try to persuade people to think or believe in what you believe in. Of course, we have said that, but it is not the only aim, okay? Because we expect from the editorial, we expect that people agree with us or come on the our side. I mean they stand by our side in this subject. Your editorial should explain the issue, can explain the issue, criticize current decision or action. As I said, you have in the critical editorial have the possibility to criticize actions, ideas, decisions, and so on. You have to persuade. This is the first type of an editorial we have seen. You have to persuade the reader to agree with your way of thinking and provide solutions. So you have to agree with you or provide solutions. This is as far as writing editorial is concerned. For more the websites or links. Thank you for your attention. I hope it is clear enough to you. Thank you.